you need to stop trying to create conflict on this podcast. It's Christmas, Matt. It's Christmas. We went shopping. We picked up 4th place and 2 sets of 3 points. One against Villa late to switch the narrative, the word that you don't like me using, and one at Old Trafford a week ago. And now we're above Man City and we have the same amount of games played. So wake up, smell the Christmas spirit, sail on into the new year, Matt, and bring us the pathway to Europe, because Forest are back, baby! We can go straight into the forestallover section.
Just do it. Just do it.
I'm doing okay. Well, it's the Christmas forestallover section, and for the Christmas forest all over the world section, we will be doing Forest all over the world fans who are on so far this season. Usually we do the whole year from January to now, but no, we're just going to do this season because I want to prove to you that we've had a lot of different guests and wonderful people on. So we're doing every single guest that we've had on so far. So we've had Simon in the Bahamas, we've had Chief in Chicago, we've had Chris in Dubai, we've had Dan in New Jersey, Matt Davies was on that one as well. We've had Mark from Australia on. We've had me, I was over in Croatia. I know I've been on anyway, but I was over in Croatia at one point. Chief then came on from Chicago with Jordan from Toronto and Homer from Ohio. Okay. We've also had Ross from Texas on with you and Ross from Texas on with me last week with Richard, who was in Oklahoma. We've had, who else? We had Jan, who was NFFC Southwest. Statsman Will was on that one. And Chris was in Phuket in a taxi, all right, in that one. And then finally, we've had Milan from Serbia on. We've had Jacob fill in for you when you weren't around, which is very usual that you're not around. And we've had Ko and Taku from Japan. And that's just this season, Matt. That's just this season. So we are a Forest all over the world podcast. We are doing well, and it's Christmas, so I want to give a shout out to all the guests that have been on so far this season. Okay?
I noticed at the end of the Aston Villa game, and I know they play Forest rocking all over the world a lot, and the Forest fans sing Forest all over the world. But I noticed in the match pass or whatever those YouTube coverage videos are that the marketing team at Forest do, I could just hear them really all belting that song out. I was like, it's so clever that it's not clever, it's just funny hearing it. I like pretending they're singing an anthem to our podcast, the whole stadium.
Well, I don't think it's anything to do with me and you. It's to do with stadium.
Of course it's not.
But we obviously
you've nabbed the domain and you've created this this that I'm doing with you.
Sorry, hang on. You created this. You and me both created this, and there's going to be a bit of a blast from the past later on, ladies and gentlemen, right? So we're going to talk about me and Matt in the past in this, because this has been 4.5 years going. It wasn't just me. You're not just a guest.
Can we not indulge? If you're going to indulge, let it happen organically. But this shouldn't be an episode about mine and your past.
No, I never said it is. I'm just breaking down. I'm just jumping on what you said. All right, but forget that.
I'm just laughing about the song that they sing at the City Ground. Thousands of Forest fans sing it, and it's like a free bit of advertising for us, and we don't really have to do anything. It's just funny.
Yeah, but I don't think it's for us. But okay, if you want to indulge,
no, it's not. You don't understand what free advertising is. I know
they're
not playing the song, and no one's singing that song for us. But as a secondary accident, while they're singing it for themselves and for Nottingham Forest football team when they do well, that as a secondary thing that happens is they're singing the title of our podcast. It's hilarious that we're
yes, I get it. It's hilarious.
You're there going, I'm not sure they're singing it.
No, but Matt,
it's like, no, they're not, Chris. We can all tell you
they're not. No, but I'm saying you've spoke about this before on the podcast, and every now and again you go missing, and then you come back and say the same things again. Do you want to indulge in something? Why don't we indulge in the fact that Forest have finished the Premier League weekend in 4th place, and we're a week before Christmas. And this is the Christmas special, and we may as well talk about that. We're in 4th. Man City are below us. They don't have a game in hand. Let's indulge in that. Let's indulge in the fact that it's December, and December was meant to be a tricky month for us, apparently. The narrative surrounding the media was, yeah, Forest have done well, but they'll fall off a cliff at some stage. Oh, we see they've got some tricky fixtures. Arsenal away, Man United away, Man City away, Villa at home. They'll fall off a cliff, and we haven't. Why don't we indulge in that for a second, Matt?
Well, expectations are certainly being dragged up to the highest they've been dragged for a long old time. Because it's starting to annoy us at the idea we might not finish in the top 10. Or even it's starting to get boring here and people go, oh, I'll be all right with top 10. We want Europe now, right? We've come this far.
Well, I like it.
Do you want Europe?
Yeah, well, I want it all. Like, I
you
want
want-
everything.
Are
But
you kind of thinking we should get Europe this season yet?
I'm not thinking we should get anything, but I'm thinking we could.
Will you be disappointed if we don't?
I don't know. It depends, because we
don't
could
know
lose.
if you imagine. Okay, so just use your
We could
imagination.
lose 7 games in a row, and then we're out the top 10, and then all of a sudden we break back into the top 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's still a lot of football.
But I'm asking you if you'd be disappointed if
halfway.
we didn't. Would you be disappointed if we didn't get into a European? What's it called? Competition for next year. I would be. I'd be gutted now because we've come. This will be hard to match next year. Whatever happens, this will be hard to match.
But
So
hang on, just to be clear, what if, because we're nearly halfway through the season, what if in January and February we dropped off the face of the earth in terms of form, and then we come back at the back end of the season and battle back and finish 9th? Like, would you be gutted then? You see, you can't ask the question now. You're asking me from the point of view right now. Would I be disappointed? Right now, in this moment, if there was 5 games to go and
there's not 5 games to go.
I know.
There's the rest of the season. I want you to not be hypothetical. I'm talking about right now. As
you are being hypothetical because the season's a long way off. That's the point. It's difficult.
But it might be even off. But has it not? I guess what I'm talking about and asking you is, has it changed? Has it recalibrated your expectations? Like, are you now going
100%? Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, we were hoping for 14th. Actually, I said as long as we can finish 17th, I just want it to be more comfortable. Now, if that happened, I'd be gutted. So it's changed.
Yeah, it's changed right now. But I mean, obviously,
I think this is the year. This is the season to be jolly. Tra la 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 la.
Okay, Matt. But like, can we just?
It's the season for Forest to get Europe.
What do you like?
Tra la 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 la.
Okay, I got it. I think that we should be dreaming of European spots. I think we should be dreaming of that. I think our expectations should be where they are now. You're asking me if I'll be gutted if it doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't know how I'll feel. My mind changes daily with Forest, weekly. It's just all over the place. So
yeah, but all you need to worry about is where it is now.
Well, where it is now is I believe we can do it. Forget if I'd be gutted if we don't. I believe we can. I believe we can.
We can.
I'm
okay,
that
Forest can...
No, but hang on. I believe we will.
You're just sorry. You believe we will. Nice. So you would be disappointed if we don't. Great. That was
I never said that I'd be disappointed if we don't. I'm just saying I believe we will.
In this moment.
You're just trapping me into a stupid corner. So in this moment, I mean, yes, but like it's just right now. Like anything can happen.
Finally, an opinion, a point, a thought that we can look forward to or discuss. Because I think you're right. I think Forest fans can hope for the best now. Otherwise, what's the point in going on good runs?
Well, we have to hope for the best, and I believe that like it is. Can I just say it is just to get back to the original thought.
It is ridiculous where we are.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's Man United made of mine went, it's not that ridiculous. No, you did spend some money. I'm like, hang on a second. Chelsea are selling hotels and spending 100 million on one player. Man United have 3 signings that cost the amount of our entire squad. It's absolutely ridiculous that we finished 17th last year, right? After PSR trouble, we stayed up, finished 17th last year, and it's nearly Christmas, and we're in 4th above Manchester City, who've won the league for the last 4 years in a row. That's ridiculous. So we definitely should be dreaming. But what I love is how the media have spun the narrative all year trying to knock us. And then finally, within the last few weeks, they went, okay, they're going to hit some bad fixtures. A Brighton fan reached out to us and said, you're hitting some bad fixtures now, finally. Well, sorry, lads, but you lost 3-1 to Palace, okay, at the weekend. We're dreaming because we just beat Villa in a 2-1 late comeback win. And yeah, it's just unbelievable. I love that the narrative has changed. But
I'm so glad Elanga got that goal.
Oh, just delighted for him. Just happy for like his form was off. He'd been dropped. Nuno's managed the group really well. I've mentioned this on Forest Focus after the game on the post-match, but Nuno's managed all those wingers really well. Like when Hudson-Odoi and Elanga have dropped off, other people have come in. Jota Silva's come in. Sousa's still waiting his time off the bench. Anderson's played very different positions, but he's managed everyone really well, and they're still happy to either start, come off the bench and have an impact like Elanga. So Nuno's been brilliant, but I just want to say 2-1 late goals. There's another narrative we've changed. When was the last time Forest were 1-0 down with sort of 10 minutes to go and ended up winning 2-1? Bristol? I know the last time we won late was against Millwall, or no, Sheffield United last year, right? But that was a Chris Wood goal. But like being 1-0 down and scoring 2 goals, we haven't done that in the Premier League. And it's been done against us loads. So I just love it. You know what I mean? Isn't that a good narrative that we're turning the screw on that Villa game? 2-1 to beat them as well after such a boring 60, 70 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's a nice new Forest that it's just not something that we've been able to be confident about our side for a long time. To see them come back and turn it around, it's just it's what character's made of. We should have been allowed that Chris Wood goal as well. Although it's brilliant for the Forest Fantasy Fives because everyone captained Wood and I had Elanga as my sub, so I won this week and it's shot me up the table in our little game.
Yeah, the Forest Fantasy Fives game, for anyone who doesn't know, most of you probably don't, is a fantasy football game that Matt created at the start of the year. I had to come up with the rules, and Matt has been keeping tabs on the scores of 7 or 8 people who are playing, including me, Matt, Stats on Will, a few others. And it's really getting annoying because Matt just keeps throwing the points out every week and I keep sending them to people. And I don't even know if he's keeping score properly. He sends all these random progress charts.
I've got it all recorded if anyone wants to look at them.
No one wants to look at them, by the way. Then, so I just have to trust you. That's kind of where we are, right?
Well, yeah. You're welcome to do the work and look at them. And so is anyone playing the game. I've got it all recorded, all on an Excel spreadsheet.
Well, anyone...
You could go into BBC or Sky Sports and check the stats.
You can't check the stats. You can check the stats of other things. You can't check Matt's actual stats and the point scoring. Most people play the game.
You can check who scored a goal, who got an assist in any game from any
season. Anyway, I had Anderson and I had Morgan Gibbs White as my captain. Both of them got assists, and for some reason, I ended
Everyone had Morgan Gibbs White and Anderson.
Yeah, but how did I end up on 26 points? It seems like a very low score for someone who had 2 people. One of them was my captain. How did I end up on 26 points? Like, show me the receipt.
Because you get 5 points. You get 5 points for an assist, unless you're a sub, and then it's doubled.
So how many did Elanga? You said you got 42 points with Elanga off the bench.
You get 20 for a goal, and it's doubled if they're a sub. So I got 40.
But he wasn't your captain.
Huh?
He wasn't your captain. I don't understand.
He wasn't my captain. He gets double. No, and you wrote these rules. You wrote this rule. If a sub comes on and gets an assist or a goal, it's doubled, just like a captain. My captain was Jota Silva, so I got 0 for my captain. But I got
which makes me really worried about how you ended up on like 76 or whatever it is you were on. But anyway,
because I got 42 for Elanga.
Okay, well, I don't think people want to listen in their cars or out on their dog walks or sitting at home on a TV screen watching YouTube to us talk about a game that none of them, bar 7, are involved in. Actually, it's only 4 or 5 people because it's me.
Yeah, but that's a little taste. They might actually be interested.
No one cares.
Well, the people playing care.
Okay, well,
and you care.
I care now
because I'm beating you.
Well, do you know what? We'll finish on that. We'll finish on that, right? I do care, and by the end of the year, I will beat you. I will beat you at your own game, you absolute weasel. Anyway, look, talk a bit about the game for me. Talk a bit about, just really quickly, I know people have talked about it, you hate when I do this, but let's just really quickly talk a bit about the game. Give me your 2 or 3 standouts from the game. Your sort of 2 or 3 standout people, and they don't have to be necessarily the main people that scored the goals or whatever, but who did you notice that stood out for you?
Well, I'm going to have to say I haven't watched the game other than highlights.
Okay, I give up. No. You've come on a podcast to talk about Nottingham Forest and you haven't watched the game. To be fair, you've done your homework. I know that. You've rewatched the extended highlights and you weren't around for the game. You went AWOL again. Me and you have witnessed 2 amazing moments the last 2 weeks. One of them was at Old Trafford.
I've missed them both.
No, I know. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing,
Chris. You're embarrassing.
It is. Why? Exactly.
You embarrass yourself. You don't need me to do that.
Okay. Well, anyway, we've had two massive moments the last 2 weeks. Thanks for that. We've had two massive moments the last 2 weeks. Old Trafford beating Man United. I mean, that was just absolute magic. I actually went back to a hotel room to watch that when I was in Paris. And then now this week, beating Villa and getting to fourth and staying in fourth at the weekend. And I urge you to find a stream of that Man United game from last week because that was a really exciting game. The Villa game, you can skip the first 60, 65 minutes because it's really boring until Villa score a goal. Then
I've heard it's because the two managers knew each other so well, and it was like a really dull chess game. Like, it's such a shame that happens, right? But is that similar to how Mourinho played his football?
Sort of. Like, I think what was really interesting about the game was...
Didn't you tell me once that Mourinho won a Champions League doing that or something?
Well, Mourinho was a tactical genius. He won a couple of Champions Leagues, all right? He was an absolute legend, right? I mean, he won a Champions League with Porto before.
But by playing really turgid football and just nicking a 1-0 here and there.
Yeah, well, he was but that is smart football. It's tactical defensive football. Watching the first 60, 65 minutes of that game, most people were like, this is like watching paint dry. Me, I was really kind of weirdly intrigued by it. You had like, at one point when we were slightly in the press high and they had a back three, and the back three were coming up with the ball. Pau Torres was on the ball quite a lot for Villa. You'd see Ryan Yates and Morgan Gibbs-White step forward into two, and just behind them would be Dominguez and Anderson. And then you'd see them sort of pivot and switch and drop in. And it was really just interesting watching like our defensive tactics. And then theirs, when we got the ball, like, to be fair to Hudson-Odoi, even though he was manned up by one or two or three people, he'd skip past Cash a few times and get the ball in the box. Our crosses just weren't great. But it was a real interesting defensive chess match if you're into that sort of thing. And I kind of was at the time, until Duran hit an absolute bullet header past Sells. And to be fair, there isn't much Sells could have done about it. It was an amazing
header. That Duran goal looks like a goal of the month contender, doesn't it?
It was unbelievable. I thought initially, I was like, I thought maybe, I was like trying to figure out,
was a beautiful header. There was no one. Gorgeous. It was like,
and do you know what? It was like, I thought maybe the defense had stepped off someone, or maybe Sells was slightly off his line, or maybe he didn't reach it or whatever. But actually, it was just an unbelievable goal. There was nothing that could be done. And I've watched it over and over again since. It was just class. But at that point in the game, Matt, you're sitting there thinking, Duran's banged in this amazing header. Villa haven't done much to win this game, but we weren't being able to break them down. Our Andersons, our Gibbs-Whites, our creative players weren't able to break them down. And then all of a sudden,
no surprise. We're not.
No. Hang on a second.
Good at breaking things down.
Shut your mouth. It is a surprise because last week when we couldn't break Man United down, we got an early goal and we couldn't do anything. In the second half, we came alive and we broke them down. This week, when we couldn't break Villa down, Gibbs-White came alive. We got an disallowed goal in the last 10 minutes and then two other really well worked goals. So it is a surprise. We are now the team that does break teams down. We are now twisting the narrative. We are now the comeback team who can come down from 1-0 down and win 2-1 late in the game. We are now the comeback team who can break teams down when they're sitting deep and they get a little bit nervous. And Nuno makes a couple of really decent subs and he brings Elanga on at the right time. And Anderson steps in and Gibbs-White steps up and Williams steps up. We are now that team. So
you should call Anthony Elanga Santani Elanga.
Santani Elanga. It's like that song, Rhythm is a Dancer, Santani Elanga, but no one sings Santani.
Well, no, it's more it's Christmas time and it's Santani Elanga.
So he's giving us the gifts, right? The gift of 3 points. No, look, it's class, but you should rewatch the last 20 minutes because
he's wanted a goal as well for us since February. I mean, it's just nice. He's been under a huge amount of pressure to get in on the goals. It must do him a world of good.
Is his last goal with us February? Surely not.
Yep. He's going to go on and have an amazing second half of the season now, I reckon.
Well, wouldn't it be great if he did that?
I don't know what that's based on, other than hope.
Yeah, I know. But wouldn't it be great if he did that against Brentford? And obviously, we'll get to a Brentford preview later. But wouldn't it be class if he did that against Brentford? Because we dislike Brentford intently, don't we? We need to do them over. We need to do them over.
We need to be since we're the team that we're the only team Man City have beaten 7 games. We're something like the only team Wolves had a point off for ages. There were a few things, despite our amazing season, that we're kind of annoyingly Charity FC, as I think that we're also known as. And you heard that phrase here, Charity FC?
No, I've heard that. Stop. Of course, I've heard. Well, Charity FC is a phrase that loads of people use. So, but like, yeah,
well, I heard it off that, and it's really funny. But I think that we and I have to thank they've given a loads of shout outs today on Grumpy Old Breads again. It's worth saying thanks for that.
Oh, nice, fair play, fair play.
followers. So thanks anyone that's joining us from their listenership. That's really nice of you to tune in and hear us two backing and forth in. But yeah, Chris, I thought with Brentford we could do the reverse and be the first team to actually destroy their home record. Haven't they won every game at home or something?
Yeah, but like, I mean, sorry, just that's why you mentioned something about these narratives about like we gave it to Man City and Man City have won, but like there's loads of narratives you can have. Aston Villa hadn't really, I think
They're
they
not
might not.
narratives. They're not
No,
narratives.
but hang on.
They're things that
No,
have
no.
happened.
Yeah, but there's other things that have happened.
Narrative
Aston
is like
Villa,
when people create a narrative. Like it was a
stop
narrative.
talking for a second.
There are narratives about Marinakis. It's not a narrative that Forest were the team that were the only team Man City beat. That's just.
Yeah, but before we scored 2 late goals against Villa every time they played a European game afterwards hadn't won one. Like, and we smashed that out the park, right? So you're gonna like people can look at Arsenal, we're a bit off form. We gave them 3 points because we lost 3-0 to them, or whatever you want to say. That's not the case. Like, we can say whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's Wolves beat Fulham 4-1 in Craven Cottage. Oh gosh, Fulham gave them the 3 points. No, this is just football. This is the way the season goes. It's you're trying to find stories within everything.
I'm not trying to find stories.
Well, just we were just unlucky that day. We played City. We had a couple of big chances first half. We didn't play particularly well, and their quality showed at some points in the game. Right, like City nearly beat a Palace team.
It's Manchester City. So it's a big deal that they haven't won at 7 games. The only game they have won is against a team called Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, well,
so that's why it's relevant to us. It's not a narrative.
No, but
we're
it's
Forest fans. We're doing a Forest
we're not
podcast.
Giving, it's a negative narrative. It's a negative storyline.
It's not a narrative.
No, but
you're using point.
But no, I don't want it to give a talking point about having lost a game 2 games ago. We just won 2 games in a row. We beat Man United at Old Trafford for the first time in 30 years. We beat Aston Villa there on the weekend to go 4th. We're stayed in 4th. You want to talk about Man City? They're below us in the table right now. So if you want to talk about narratives or storylines, I've no problem doing that. But I'm not going to go down a negative Nelly road with you. That's not what this is about.
Negative Nelly. I'm merely going.
Don't mention it then.
Forest can
I don't hear it.
Team.
I'm not interested.
Are Brentford on a run of wins at home or not? Yes or no?
This is the Christmas special.
Are Brentford on a run of wins at home? Yes or no?
Yes, they're doing well at
Wouldn't
home.
It be fun if Forest could be the team that put a stop to that?
No, we will put a stop to that. We'll beat them next week, yes. So yeah, it will be fun. And if we don't, fine. But I think we have a big chance of doing it. And yes, of course it will be fun. That's fine. Why didn't you just stick to that narrative? You went back to the City thing. I don't want to talk about that.
Oh.
You want me to stop saying the word narrative?
Yeah.
Okay. Happy Christmas, everybody.
We need you to stop saying the word narrative.
Well, look, we'll do a Brentford preview in a little bit, but happy Christmas, everyone. I prepared something for Christmas that I thought was quite nice and positive, and Matt and I have descended into arguing again. Matt's actually off to Thailand in a few days, which is why we're doing the Christmas special early. Matt, thanks for joining me. I'm going to try and be less frustrated with you, and hopefully you'll be less frustrated with me. 4.5 years ago, Matt and I set up the podcast. We're not going to talk about it too much, but I prepared an audio recording from our first ever Christmas special, wow. and I want you to listen to it. I'm going to play it out.
I'm actually embarrassed. You've actually done some prep.
Okay, and I'll play it out. I'm going to let that one slide because I was trying to be nice.
No, as in I can't have a go at you now. You've done some prep.
You can't have a go at me anyway. But anyway, I'm going to play it out, and it's from our first Christmas special in 2020 at the end of the year. And then I want to just quickly talk about it afterwards. So
I hope you've got the song.
It is.
And here we are in December. It's Christmas Day. We've done a full circle right from back in that January last year before I came to Canada, and we beat Blackburn Rovers on New Year's Day. There we were. And here we are now. Look at the sort of 180 we've done.
We're 4th from bottom. Yeah, we're 4th from bottom.
What's 2021 going to bring?
And that is a little clip from episode 30, which is the Christmas special. I probably had a little bit of a Canadian twang because I was living over in Canada at the time. And
it didn't sound Canadian to me.
Right. Well, anyway, Matt.
You sounded very much your Irish Dublin South, mate.
Sorry,
which is a great thing.
That's fine, but can we just...
Funny that you think you sounded Canadian.
No, I don't know, but I just know I had a bit of a twang for that. I don't know. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. Let's talk about where we were then and where we are now. That whole episode actually did a timeline of the entire year. Talked about when we started the podcast, how you came over to Canada, how
I got on TalkSport.
How we shut up about that, how we watched Leeds 2-0, and you were at the Toronto Trickies with me, watched with them, shout out to them, absolute legends. And then it also talked about like how we went over to Canada to try and make a film about two guys who can't make a film, and then we never finished the film. Ridiculously. It was very ridiculous. And then we what the best part about, I suppose, that episode was at the end we go, and here we are, 4th from bottom in the championship. And it was a juxtaposition from good, because we were at Sabri flying high at the start of the year, to bad when we were like 4th from bottom of the championship. I think Chris Hughton was a coach at the time. And you know what? We were 4th from bottom there. And where are we now? We're 4th in the Premier League, nearing Christmas on our Christmas special, our 4th Christmas special. So
wow, that's amazing, mate. Fair play. So our first Christmas special was when we started the podcast under Sabri days, just before COVID. We thought we were going to get promoted or get playoffs, and then we lost to Stoke and choked. And I did an episode from Turkey, and we had that really funny episode where we really thought we were going to make the playoffs, and we didn't. Then we had the year that you just talked through, where we clearly had thought we were going to get promoted, came back. Chris Hughton was that miserable year with no fans, and then it was the Cooper year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Cooper year then. And
hang on, there must have been more than 4 Christmas specials.
No, there's 4. No, because we've nearly done
a
5
Christmas special, a Hughton Christmas special.
We didn't have a Sabri Christmas special. We didn't. Sabri, we did start with Sabri, but we started with Sabri
after Christmas.
Yeah. So we started with Sabri in June, at the end of that session where or the end of the season where we completely bottled it. We did the run-in for the end of that season. The first 10 episodes was the run-in.
It was in the hiatus in the season where the season shut down. We started the pod.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the best thing. In that episode, and I don't know if many people go back to it, but in that episode, the whole way through, or there's a couple of moments through that I heard where you said, well, I've lost my sense of smell. I've lost my taste. Things aren't going too well. And then as soon as the episode ended, you messaged me saying, just got a text, I've got COVID. And it was like the very beginning of COVID as well. So it was a big
deal. Well, we didn't know how we had to go to a test center to do a test and all that. God. We digress, mate. We're just having a catch up now. This is mad. It's Christmas. This is a special, and Forest 4th in the Premier League. Expectations are now high. It's a very fun time to be a Forest fan. I'm almost telling myself to be ready for when this ends before we've even got to enjoy it all yet. As I say, I want to get Europe, but I'm also going this. Things are going to get. What goes up must come down. Hey.
Oh, no. What goes up must stay up. And we're going to stay inflated and stay high and stay where we are. Because you said this a few weeks ago and it's never happened. So I know that that's the general feeling. Like, look, Ross from Texas last week, bless him, he said it on the podcast. He goes, the first thing I did when I came out of Old Trafford was look at how far we are away from the bottom of the league still. That was just his default mode. He wasn't thinking up rather than down. And I like fully understand that as a Forest fan. That's kind of the way sometimes it comes across. So yeah, look, we need to be now like saying, no, every game we're going into, we should try and win it. Not we should try and get a draw. Every game we should try and accumulate as much points as possible to hit that magic 60 whatever points mark it is to get a higher European place. That's what we should be trying to do. I think it might be less than that for a lower European place for Europa League or Europa Conference. And you and I and Statsman Will were talking about this earlier today. The pathway episode, like the pathway episode we do every year. We did it pathway to the playoffs. I think that year we got promoted, and then pathway to survival the last 2 years. We've only done 3 of them. We'll be doing one late January, early February. Will that be the pathway to the top 10? Will it be pathway to Europe? Or will it be pathway to the Champions League? I don't know. That's the thing. And that'll be the exciting episode because Will come on. He'll do his stats. He'll tell us how many points per game we need. We'll go through it. We'll have him logically talking about it with me and you. And then we add
It's logic. It's logic. True. I love that we call him Statsman Will, but he hates that you call him that because he's like, I just work out maths.
I know, but but me and you aren't, like, we're not that way inclined unless you're playing the Forest Fantasy Fives game where you're bringing spreadsheets out your arse. I don't know how you do that. And the thing about the pathway episode, Matt, which I love the most, is every time we've done it, it's worked out. So when we did the first pathway to survival, we weren't actually sure we were going to survive that season, and then it worked out. When we did the pathway to survival or the pathway to the playoffs, I wasn't sure it was going to work out that season with Cooper. The last year's pathway to survival as well, it worked out. So every time we've done it, it's been like a little good luck charm where it's worked out. And sometimes we even over-egg the pudding and asked for more points than we initially expected and finished lower than that. But I mean, it's really, really exciting. I'm excited for that episode because I want to know what that pathway is going to be. Is it going to be the pathway to Europe? Is it going to be the pathway to the Champions League? Is it going to be the pathway to whatever? First place. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but I'm really, really excited for it. And, I look forward to getting you on. Actually, you'll be in Thailand for the next 4 or 5 weeks. And I know you'll be on the podcast from Thailand, but you'll be in Thailand. And I think the pathway episode will happen just when you get back, sort of back end of January, early February, when we really see kind of where we are. It'll be like, just over a third of the season left. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So, are you annoyed with me or something?
No.
Very annoyed.
No.
Well, you just listen. Okay. All right. Well, look, let's to continue the pathway. We're playing Brentford this weekend. It's a really important game because if we win that, it's 3 wins in a row, and all of a sudden, like you said, we're flipping the script, not the narrative. I won't say the word narrative. We're flipping the script on Brentford's home
Do you
form.
think expectations are now that we can beat Brentford from Forest point of view, and then we'll talk about from an outside Forest point of view?
Expectations
is that we should beat Brentford, or that Brentford should really beat Forest?
Expectations are that we can beat anyone. That's expectations.
So Forest are going to be expected to beat Brentford this weekend, right?
It's going to be Brentford will expect to beat Forest, and Forest will expect to beat Brentford. And you could
and the neutral would expect
a draw, probably.
I think they'll expect Brentford.
Well, they can expect Brentford all they want. I think they expected Liverpool. I think they expected Chelsea this season to beat us at home when we were down to 10 men. I think they expected Brighton to beat us when we were down to 10 men at home. I think they expected Man United to beat us at Old Trafford under Amorim. They beat Man City today. Man United should be a new look Man United, but it wasn't. We beat them 3-2.
It's going to be a really tough. I wonder if it's going to be really tough. They're all tough. I wonder if it's going to be less tough than Aston Villa. Sorry, I did clip my mic that time. I wonder if it's going to be less tough than Aston Villa, as in easy.
I think it's going to be a hard game. Like, we're just taking it game by game. All the games are tough in their own way, and we are getting the job done. We haven't had an easy game this season.
Murillo injured. I heard is Murillo done injured?
Murillo and Yates came off. I won't know, but by the time this podcast released, maybe we'll know what the injury status of those two players is, but I don't know is the answer. But did Murado come in and do really well? I mean, you obviously just told me you didn't watch the game, but Murado came in and did unbelievably well. So, and he was in a back four. He's usually in a back three coming on at the last. So, I thought he came on and did really well. So I was happy. Or wait, Bolly came on at some point as well. But yeah, look, Murado came on and did really, really well. He stepped up for that interception, which led eventually to the second goal, by the way. I thought he was good. But yeah, Murillo's obviously a different gravy. He's one of the best defenders we've seen at Nottingham Forest, probably in the last 30 years. So yeah, if he was out, that would be a problem, but we won't know. So there's no point in me talking too much about it. I just want to know, you're talking to me about Brentford saying that the neutrals think that they're going to beat us. You believe that, right?
Well, I do think that people will expect it'll be varied. It'll be very split and very varied. I think the expectation will lean towards Forest as well. No, I mean, purely on the whole, Brentford beating everyone at home might tip the balance in their favour. I think we're going to get. I think we're going to win there. I think it will be us that change that run of form that they've got at home.
The narrative, yeah.
It's not a narrative. It's truth.
No, I know it's the truth of the narrative.
What? Huh? Say again.
It's the truth of the narrative. The narrative is that Brentford should beat us because they've had their home form.
Narrative means story, Chris. A narrative is a story.
Yeah.
It's not a story that Brentford are on a really good winning streak at home. It's just facts and stats of this season. It's not a narrative. I'm not making it up. I'm not manipulating something to make it sound more like something it isn't. That would be a narrative.
Well, I'm not saying you are. I'm just okay. Well, let's change do you know what I mean? I don't know what else to say to you. Like, let's change the like, are we going to really argue about a word here on this podcast on the Christmas special this year? Like, are we really going to do that? Or are we going to talk about beating Brentford, the team who have been a pain in our arse the last couple of years, and we want to stick it to them after Ivan Toney moved the ball slightly with
I really want to
and
stick
all
it
this?
to them.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about sticking it to Brentford.
How much my point got heard then, though, because my internet dropped out again, and I thought I made really good sense of the argument about your stupid narrative word. Did you get?
Your internet's dropping in and out, but it doesn't matter. That you made as much point, or it makes no difference. We're trying to talk about football here.
Yeah, no, you're not. You're trying to use the word narrative all the time. We're going to beat Brentford. We want to beat Brentford, and
Okay.
I can't wait to the game. I mean, there's not much more to say. I mean, they're playing really well as well. They're not that far behind us.
Well, we just basically need to focus on nullifying Wissa and Bemo and, those attacking threats that they have. I think I saw Carvalho and Sharner came off the bench as well. They all looked really, really dangerous. So they're kind of like us. They have these attacking weapons like Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, Sosa, Jota Silva, Anderson, all off the bench. Wood, obviously, Taiwo. They have a load of those and they just throw them in and switch it up whenever they can. And they actually got some joy today. They nearly leveled late against Chelsea. And then in the end, Chelsea got a second, and then Brentford piled on the pressure, got there when it was 2-1 in the end. They were actually unlucky not to get something from the game. So I think we just need to nullify those weapons that they have, and if we can do our best, then I think we'll squeeze out a win. But we always seem to go ahead against Brentford and then get pegged back, which is really, really, really annoying. So I just really want to beat them. I don't think we beat them in the Premier League this so far, even home or away. We've drawn with them twice at home, and we've lost to them twice away, and both times we were ahead from a Danilo goal in both away games. Danilo scored first, and then we ended up losing both games. One of them 2-1, one of them 3-2. So it was very, very frustrating. Yeah.
Damn, we could do with Danilo coming back. Hopefully his progress is looking good. Chris, what else have we got to talk about? Because I know that time's pushing on.
Yeah. I think do you have a Christmas Forest wish instead of a red hot take?
It's about beating Brentford. We've just got to beat Brentford for once.
That your Forest Christmas wish is that we beat Brentford. Is that
and
it?
Spurs on Boxing Day.
So your Forest Christmas wish is that we win our next 2 games. Is that, like, are we really gonna just make it as simple and as basic as that?
Well, I don't know. We're allowed to wish for. I mean, what's going on with Sangare? Like, what's going on with Danilo?
No, that's not a wish. I mean, you're okay. You wish that they're both coming back to training. No, that's fine. Can you give me something?
I wish.
No, hang on. A red hot take is something controversial that you think might happen that's a little bit off the beaten track. I want you to give me what you want to be a red hot take, if that makes sense. That's your Christmas wish that Santa Elanga can hand to you. What is your Christmas wish? Like last year, if someone said to me, my Christmas wish will be that Chris Wood can score a hat-trick at St. James's Park, and then he goes and does it. That's pretty cool, right? But you get what I'm saying? Like, give me the Christmas wish.
Christmas wish is that Elanga... no, my Christmas... I've got loads of Christmas wishes, haven't I? I want Elanga to, like, turn it around. I want everyone else... I want our wingers. I want Hudson-Odoi, Jota Silva, and Elanga to get... Well, yeah.
You don't know. You have no idea. You've no idea.
I'm playing so well. I've got my Christmas wish.
No. You talk about prep. You haven't got a clue what's going on. My Christmas wish is that Taiwo comes back and starts one of the next 6 games and gets a hat-trick in that game. I love Taiwo Wanya, and I know he hasn't scored this season, but I wish that he gets on the score sheet soon. That's my Christmas wish, and maybe he will. You never know. He might just do it. All right? That's it. So, Matt, you're off to Thailand. Your internet's been dropping in and out in this episode. Sorry, everyone, if it's been frustrating for you. This is our Christmas episode. I had to get Matt on early because he's flying out in a few days.
Have you got the Christmas song that Al wrote for us a few years ago?
You can put it in if you want to edit the episode, because I'd love to do it. And actually, that was in the very first Christmas episode. So if we could end on that song, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Will we do that?
Yeah.
Rather than do the normal run-out theme tune music, we'll do the Forest All Over song that Al wrote for us, will we?
If we can find it, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's roll out on that. Hit the music. Matt, hit the music. Bang. Button. Right. thanks everyone for listening to the Forest All Over podcast. I know it's been a bit all over the place at times, but as we mentioned at the beginning, we have had many guests on. Matt has been chaotic and hectic as ever, so he hasn't been on every episode, but neither have I, to be fair. I missed an episode, I think, this season.
We hadn't talked about Anderson either.
No, but everyone's talked about how amazing he is and he's class. We can't. We're 45 minutes in, and now you're asking
Some
me
might
about
say
football.
more valuable than Morgan Gibbs-White, but
They're both valuable, and Gibbs-White was brilliant.
some might say more valuable than Morgan Gibbs-White.
Why are you trying to start an argument with me about which two of our players that I want us both to have starting are more valuable than each other? No, I wouldn't say he's more valuable than Gibbs-White at this stage, but I would say they're both incredibly valuable.
Very good, very good. I just hope that our wishes are being granted. I just hope that we can maintain it. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'll check in from Thailand next. We'll see you later, Chris. I'll be in Thailand for the Brentford game. That's mad.
You will, and hopefully your internet connection will be a little bit better. I'd love if you could phone in from Thailand after that Brentford game. It'd be pretty cool.
What time's kickoff? What time's kickoff for Brentford?
I think it's normal. I think it's like 3 o'clock UK time. Let me just double check what time kickoff for the Brentford game is.
It'll be 10 p.m. for me.
I think everyone's going to hate this episode. It's 3 p.m. on the 21st. So that's what it is. And then obviously Spurs is on Boxing Day or Stephen's Day, not long after, right? So, yeah. Look, let me ask you a question before we go. Are we going to get an episode in before the Spurs game after Brentford? Me and you, I mean, like we'll probably first one over. We'll do one.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do one with someone, but I mean, it depends what's going on with you. But look,
mate, I'm still around, I'm just in another country. The internet still works there.
And that's what Forest All Over the World or Forest All Over the Place is all about.
Exactly.
Follow us at Forest All Over on Instagram, at NFFC All Over on X, at Forest All Over on YouTube. Like and subscribe to this video. If you got to the end, just like and subscribe right now. And just write a little comment saying like and subscribe, guys. And also write Happy Christmas or whatever it is you want to write if you got this far. I can't believe you have if you have. Thank you, everyone. Matt, wish everyone a happy Christmas, Forest in Forth.
Merry Christmas, everybody.